The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky, each one twinkling like a distant eye watching over the galaxy. On the edge of the Trivara system, a small human ship glided silently through the void, its silver hull reflecting the faint light of nearby suns. The vessel was modest, almost humble in appearance compared to the massive alien cruisers that patrolled the system. But inside, its crew was alert and focused. Captain Elena Voss stood on the bridge, her hands resting lightly on the railing. Her eyes scanned the view screen, which displayed the barren, rocky surface of the planet below. This world was uninhabited by intelligent life, or so the sensors indicated. Yet she knew better than to assume safety. The humans had learned over centuries that appearances could be deceiving. "Commander Rylan," she said, turning toward her second-in-command, a tall man with sharp features and quiet confidence. What do the readings show?" Rylan tapped a few buttons and brought up the planet's environmental map. "Atmosphere is breathable with minor filtration," he said. "Temperature stable. No signs of advanced civilization. Energy readings are low, very low. We might actually be the first sentient visitors here." Elena nodded, her mind already racing through the possibilities. "Good. Set up a perimeter and start the outpost. Keep sensors wide. I don't want any surprises." The humans moved with efficient precision. They were small in number, but every action was deliberate. Tents and modular buildings unfolded automatically from the ship's cargo bay, forming a compact but organized settlement on the rocky ground. Drones hovered above, scanning the horizon, their soft whirs blending with the wind. High above in orbit, alien monitors observed the newcomers. The coalition of races known as the Xeran Alliance had been tracking human expansion for decades. To them, humans were unpredictable, but they seemed weak, primitive. Even Captain Vral, one of the Xyran officers, said, his multiple eyes narrowing as he watched the human movements. "They have no weapons visible. Their technology is basic. They are harmless." Captain Vral's antennae twitched. "Harmless or not, they are on our border. Prepare the assault. We will take them down quickly and show the rest of the galaxy that they are not to be feared." Below, the humans continued their work, unaware of the scrutiny above. Among them was Dr. Nira Soren, a young scientist with a keen mind for technology. She was already inspecting the sensors and scanning the environment. Her hair, tied back in a simple braid, swayed as she moved carefully over uneven rocks. "These readings are strange," she murmured, almost to herself. "There's something unusual in the energy patterns here. Almost like a hidden current of power." Rylan approached, curiosity on his face. "Hidden? Are you suggesting there's someone else here?" Nira shook her head. "Not life, not exactly. Something shifting. Maybe the planet itself, or maybe it's us. We are undetected, and yet the planet reacts. I'll keep analyzing." Elena passed by them, her boots kicking up small clouds of dust. "Focus, Nira. Keep the sensors ready. If the aliens find us first, we won't get a second chance." As night fell, a strange quiet settled over the settlement. The wind whispered across jagged cliffs, carrying with it the scent of minerals and dust. The humans lit minimal lights, careful not to draw attention. Shadows stretched long across the ground, and in the distance, the first faint silhouettes of alien ships hovered silently. The aliens believed the humans were weak. They underestimated the species' cunning, and that was their first mistake. Deep in the shadows of the rocky hills, humans moved with deliberate care. A team of engineers and scouts, led by Lieutenant Mara Keel, navigated the uneven terrain, carrying only what was necessary. Their mission was not confrontation, but observation. They watched the alien patrols, noting patterns, timing, and potential weaknesses. "Look at their formations," Mara whispered to her team. "They move in straight lines, predictable, slow. We'll need to stay hidden, but every move we make can count." One of the scouts, a wiry man named Jarek, pointed to a distant patrol. "They don't even know we are here. We could do anything and they wouldn't notice." Mara shook her head. "Don't get overconfident. We are not here to fight yet. Observation first. Knowledge is our weapon tonight." Above them, the aliens had begun their own reconnaissance. Small crafts swooped low over the human outpost, scanning with bright energy pulses that could detect even subtle signs of life. Yet the humans remained invisible, their presence masked by clever shielding and the natural formations of the planet. Captain Vral, a young alien lieutenant, reported, "The humans are still inert, no weapons, no defensive systems. They seem unaware of our presence." Vral's antennae twitched impatiently. "Then our victory is certain." Begin deployment. By dawn, this settlement will be ours. But the humans were not idle. In the deep darkness of the surrounding hills, they tested and perfected simple but ingenious devices. Soren had designed a small portable shield generator that bent light and sound, rendering them invisible to alien sensors. The scouts carried it carefully, setting it up at key observation points. As hours passed, the humans adapted to the environment, learning its subtle rhythms. They discovered that small shifts in wind could carry sound differently, that certain rocks could muffle footsteps, and that their shadows could blend perfectly with the jagged cliffs. By midnight, the aliens began to notice irregularities. Drones vanished without explanation, sensor signals flickered, and the wind carried noises that could not be traced. The patrols grew uneasy. Captain Vral, the lieutenant said nervously, something is moving in the shadows, but nothing is visible. Vral's eyes narrowed. Impossible. They are humans. They cannot hide from our technology. Investigate carefully. We must find the source. Meanwhile, on the ground, the humans watched silently, their eyes reflecting a calm confidence. They did not panic. They did not strike. Instead, they became part of the night, moving with patience, understanding that this was a test, not just of strength, but of intelligence and will. Elena stood on a ridge overlooking the alien ships. The soft glow of their engines painted the rocks in eerie shades of green and blue. She turned to Rylan. They think we are unarmed, she said quietly. They do not understand what we are capable of. But that will change in time. For now, we learn, we watch. We wait, Rylan nodded, a small smile on his face. And when the time comes, they will be surprised. Terribly surprised. The night stretched on, filled with tension. Every sound, every movement was noted. Humans communicated through hand signals and subtle lights, avoiding detection completely. Even the aliens' most advanced sensors could not penetrate the careful camouflage, nor the natural cleverness of human movement. In the distance, the first faint lights of alien activity shifted, signaling preparations for a dawn attack. But the humans had anticipated this. Traps and countermeasures were silently laid in the rocks, small but effective, not to destroy the aliens, but to confuse and slow them. Marakeel crouched behind a boulder, watching a patrol approach a path that led directly to the human settlement. Remember, she whispered, we strike only when it's smart. We do not fight blindly. Patience wins. And so the humans waited, invisible in the shadows, watching the enemy prepare for a battle they did not even know had begun. The aliens believed victory was certain. They believed humans were fragile, unarmed and unprepared. But humans were more than what they appeared to be. They were observers. They were learners. They were shadows moving through the night. And when the time came, they would remind the galaxy why humans were never to be underestimated. As dawn approached, the first light of the alien sun cast long, trembling shadows across the rocks. And in those shadows, humans moved silently, unseen, ready for whatever came next. The stage was set. The galaxy would soon learn that what they assumed about humans was dangerously wrong. The first light of dawn stretched across the rocky terrain, painting the ground in gold and gray. Alien ships hovered silently above the human settlement, their sleek hulls catching the weak rays of the sun. Inside the outpost, humans moved deliberately, preparing for the day without revealing any signs of panic. Lieutenant Marakeel led a small team along the jagged cliffs surrounding the settlement. Their movements were precise, coordinated, and silent. Each step was calculated to avoid loose rocks that might give them away. Though they appeared calm, every human was aware of the danger that lurked above and around them. They think they control the sky, Mara whispered to Jarek, her sharp-eyed scout. But the shadows move, and they cannot see everything. Jarek nodded, adjusting the portable shield device that Soren had designed. This small, compact generator bent light and sound around its users, effectively rendering them invisible to the alien sensors. It was a simple tool, yet in the hands of clever humans it was more powerful than any weapon. Below, the aliens began their patrols. They moved in predictable patterns, scanning with energy beams and drones that hummed faintly in the air. To them, humans were unaware and vulnerable, but even as they swept the area, small anomalies began to disturb their calculations. A rock shifted where it should not have. A faint shadow moved just outside the detection radius. Captain Vral's multiple eyes flickered as he observed the readings. "Something is wrong," he muttered. "The sensors show fluctuations, but no life forms appear. Could it be interference?" asked a young lieutenant nervously. Vral's antennae twitched. "No, this is deliberate. They are hiding. They are cleverer than we expected." Meanwhile, the humans crept through the shadows, observing every alien move. They did not attack yet. Their goal was understanding, learning the habits of the enemy. Knowledge was their weapon tonight. Nira Soren moved along a rocky ridge, her small hands adjusting a sensor she had planted hours earlier. It was a simple device, but it amplified subtle environmental changes, allowing the humans to anticipate alien movements. "Energy spikes in the eastern canyon," she reported quietly into her communicator. 3 patrols will converge there in exactly 7 minutes. Mara smiled beneath her hood. "Good, everyone stay ready. We watch, we learn, and when the time comes we act, but only when the move is smart." The first patrol moved into the canyon. Yarrick, crouched behind a boulder, noted the alien soldiers' patterns. Their steps were mechanical, almost predictable. They spoke in clicks and hums, unaware that humans were observing every subtle motion. "They are too slow," Jarek whispered. "They think we are simple, weak. Unarmed. That is their mistake," Mara said. "Never forget it. They have underestimated humans before, and they will again." As the patrol passed, a small shadow flickered across a nearby ledge. It was barely noticeable, yet it drew the attention of one alien scout. The scout stopped, scanning carefully, but saw nothing. The humans had learned the art of subtle movement, being present but invisible. Hours passed. The humans continued their silent observation, moving through the rocks, testing their devices and learning the aliens' routines. Each scout took turns recording data, noting patrol patterns, drone paths, and even the sound frequencies of alien communications. "Their formation is too linear," Nira whispered. "They rely on predictable scanning. If we manipulate the terrain, we can control where they go. They won't see us, but they will react to our presence indirectly." Mara nodded. "Exactly. Shadows can do more than hide. Shadows can guide, distract, and confuse. Tonight they will learn the first lesson." As the sun climbed higher, the aliens began to relax. They believed the humans were still unaware, still vulnerable. Their overconfidence became a weakness. "Captain Vral, they have not responded," the lieutenant reported. "No attacks, no signals. They remain still." Vral's eyes narrowed. "Do not let this lull you into carelessness. They are hiding, yes, but that does not mean they are defenseless. Prepare the advance squads. By evening we will take control of the outpost." But humans were already preparing. The engineers had set subtle traps and countermeasures, not to harm the aliens, but to slow and confuse them. Small rock slides, temporary signal distortions, and environmental shifts were all planned to manipulate the enemy. Every action was precise, requiring coordination, patience, and intelligence. By late afternoon, the aliens began to notice oddities. Drones vanished unexpectedly. Sensor signals flickered. Patrols found paths blocked by seemingly random rock slides. Anxiety spread among the soldiers. "Captain," the lieutenant said nervously, "something is moving in the shadows, but we cannot locate them. It is as if the planet itself resists us." Vral's antennae twitched with unease. "Impossible. They are humans. They cannot hide from our technology. Continue searching. Do not fail." Meanwhile, Mara's team moved higher into the hills. From a ridge, they observed a larger alien patrol approaching the settlement. Using subtle hand signals, Mara guided her scouts to position themselves for maximum observation. Each movement was precise. Every step accounted for wind, sound, and shadow. "Watch the flanks," she whispered. "They will sweep the area systematically. Note everything. Their weakness is their rigidity. Predictable behavior is the best weapon we have right now." The humans were not armed with guns or explosives, at least not in a way the aliens could recognize. Their strength lay in knowledge, adaptability, and strategy. Even small devices, like the light-bending shields or the sensor amplifiers, became tools of unmatched power when combined with human ingenuity. As night fell again, the humans began to make subtle moves. Tiny rocks shifted, creating shadows where none should exist. A distant boulder was nudged to alter the reflection of alien lights. A drone hovering nearby experienced a brief signal disturbance, causing the alien soldiers to pause, confused. Captain Vral noticed the anomalies immediately. "What trickery is this?" he demanded. Locate the source. The lieutenant shook his head. We cannot find anything. It is as if the shadows themselves move. Vral's antennae bristled. Impossible. Humans are not spirits. They are not invisible. Find them, or the blame will fall on you. On the human side, Mara's team watched quietly, holding their positions. They did not celebrate the confusion they caused. They were disciplined, patient, and deliberate. Each human knew that the shadows were temporary and the real challenge was coming. The first confrontation. Nira Soren crouched on a rocky outcrop, adjusting her devices. We've tested them tonight, she whispered to Mara. They are predictable. They panic at the unknown. Our shadow work is enough to unsettle them. But we must be ready for when they attack, Mara nodded. Exactly. Knowledge is our weapon, but patience is our shield. Let them tire themselves with fear. Let them think they are in control. Then we will move and they will see. Humans are never as simple as they appear. As midnight approached, the aliens retreated to orbit temporarily, planning to resume their sweep in the morning. But the damage had been done. Unease spread among their ranks. Sensors were questioned, patrols second-guessed, and even Captain Vral began to wonder if the humans were more than they seemed. Elena Voss watched the alien ships disappear into the night sky from her ridge. Her team remained hidden below, but her mind was already racing ahead. They think we are unarmed, she said quietly. They think shadows are harmless. But shadows can move and humans can strike from the dark. Tonight they have seen only a fraction of what we can do. Rylan, standing beside her, smiled faintly. They will remember this night. Their confidence will crack. They always do when they meet humans. The humans settled back into their outpost, blending seamlessly with the natural darkness. They were calm, disciplined, and ready. The aliens had learned a small, uncomfortable truth. Humans could hide, observe, and manipulate their environment in ways they could not predict. And the shadows would move again. For humans, this night was a victory not of force but of strategy, a reminder to the galaxy. Underestimating humans was a mistake no one survived twice. As the first light of the next day began to rise, Elena whispered, "Tomorrow, we learn more. Tomorrow, we remind them that humans are never as simple as they appear." The sky over the rocky planet glowed faintly with the morning light, casting long shadows across the jagged landscape. Alien patrols resumed their sweep, moving in disciplined lines and scanning every inch of the terrain. They believed the humans were still unarmed and unaware. Yet deep down, some of the alien soldiers felt an unease they could not explain. Lieutenant Mara Keel crouched on a ridge above the settlement, her team hidden among the rocks. Their faces were calm, but their minds were sharp. Today was not only for observation, it was the day humans would prove that their power did not depend on visible weapons. "Positions," Mara whispered. "We move only when the timing is perfect. Everyone knows their role." Each member of the team had a specific task. Some would manipulate the environment, creating shadows and disturbances to confuse the alien sensors. Others would monitor patrols and mark the best paths for future moves. And a few, the sharpest and fastest, would execute the first strike, targeting the aliens' communication and surveillance systems with precision. At the same time, Dr. Nira Soren adjusted her devices. She had prepared a set of portable pulse disruptors, small generators capable of creating temporary interference in the alien scanners. In the hands of humans, these devices were silent and deadly, capable of causing confusion without a single shot fired. "Energy readings on the northern approach are high," Nira reported. 3 patrols will converge on the settlement in exactly 5 minutes. Mara nodded. "Good. Let them come." The first alien patrol moved into the canyon, scanning systematically. They were confident as always. Their communication clicks echoed faintly, conveying orders and coordination. To them, humans were still unaware, still weak. Then slowly, the first strike began. Small rocks shifted, creating sudden shadows where none had been before. Alien sensors registered anomalies and drones buzzed in confusion, briefly losing track of the patrols. The humans remained hidden, observing the effects of their subtle manipulations. "What is happening?" one alien soldier asked nervously. "The signals are unstable." It must be a fault in the sensors, another replied. Check them again. But there was no fault. The humans were striking not with brute force but with intelligence. Every disruption was planned, calculated, and executed with perfect timing. Mara's team moved carefully through the rocky terrain, using hand signals to communicate. They adjusted shadows, nudged boulders, and activated the pulse disruptors in precise sequence. Each action caused confusion among the aliens, slowing their patrols and forcing them to second-guess their commands. Above the settlement, Captain Vral's eyes narrowed. "What is this trickery?" he demanded. "They cannot hide from our technology. Find them." The lieutenant glanced at him nervously. "We cannot locate the source, Captain. The readings fluctuate, but nothing is visible. It is as if the shadows themselves move." Vral's antennae twitched with frustration. "Impossible. Humans are fragile. They cannot do this. Keep searching. I want answers." Meanwhile, the humans escalated their first strike. Using the terrain to their advantage, they blocked narrow passages with controlled rock slides, forcing the aliens into confined areas. Their pulse disruptors created momentary blind spots in the alien scanners, allowing humans to move unseen and undetected. Mara signaled her fastest scout, Jarek, to move closer to one of the patrol's communication units. He sprinted across the rocks with silent precision, carefully avoiding loose gravel and patches of wind that could carry sound. Reaching the alien device, he activated a subtle interference, causing the entire unit to flicker and shut down temporarily. The patrol froze, confused. "What is happening?" one soldier hissed. "Our communication is failing." Mara's team remained invisible, hidden in plain sight. They did not attack directly. They used strategy, manipulation, and intellect to gain control without confrontation. The humans had learned long ago that brains could outmatch brute strength when the odds were against them. Dr. Nira Soren monitored the effects from her hidden position. "Disruptors are working," she whispered. "They cannot communicate with each other. Their patrols are fragmented. Mara, it's time." Mara nodded. "All units move, quietly, quickly, precisely. Observe, record, and act if necessary. Remember, control is our weapon today." The alien patrols began to panic. Systems failed, drones lost track, and soldiers found themselves isolated in small groups. Their once perfect formation collapsed, replaced by confusion and fear. For the first time, the aliens realized that the humans were not what they had assumed: weak, unarmed, and predictable. Captain Vral's eyes widened in disbelief as he saw the unfolding chaos on his monitors. This is impossible," he muttered. "Humans cannot coordinate like this. They should be defenseless." But the humans were disciplined. They did not celebrate or panic. Every move was calculated, every action deliberate. They observed, learned, and struck only when it maximized effect. From the ridges, Mara's team watched as alien patrols stumbled over obstacles the humans had set. Rocks shifted, shadows deepened, and temporary sound barriers created the illusion of movement where there was none. Even the aliens' most advanced sensors could not penetrate the careful camouflage or predict the humans' clever use of the environment. "Captain Voss," Nira said through the communicator, "the main surveillance hub is vulnerable. If we can disable it, the patrols will be blind for hours." Elena's voice came over the line, calm and firm. "Proceed, but stay hidden. We strike, we learn, but we do not expose ourselves unnecessarily. Timing is everything." Jarek, Mara, and 2 other scouts moved with incredible precision toward the hub. Using hand signals and subtle light signals, they coordinated their movements. Each step, each adjustment, ensured that they remained invisible even to the most advanced alien sensors. Reaching the hub, Jarek activated a device that created a temporary electromagnetic pulse, enough to disrupt the alien technology without causing permanent damage. Lights flickered, energy beams failed, and drones crashed gently to the ground. The alien soldiers inside panicked. "What is happening?" one screamed. "Our systems failing." Mara watched silently, her eyes sharp. "They are learning the first lesson," she whispered. Meanwhile, Captain Vral's frustration reached a peak. "Halt the humans," he bellowed. "Send reinforcements. We will crush them." But the humans had already predicted the reaction. They did not attack the reinforcements directly. Instead, they used the environment and the shadows to slow and confuse them. Small diversions, subtle manipulations of terrain, and brief signal disruptions made the aliens waste precious time, scrambling in confusion. Dr. Nira Soren monitored everything, her fingers flying over the controls. "They are adapting too slowly," she said with satisfaction. "Their coordination is failing. They cannot match our speed, our intelligence, or our precision." By the time the first wave of reinforcements reached the settlement, the humans had already disappeared into the shadows, leaving only subtle signs of their presence. Alien soldiers found equipment disrupted, sensors failing, and communication lines fragmented. Their initial confidence evaporated like mist in sunlight. Captain Vraal's multiple eyes narrowed, full of disbelief and fury. "Impossible," he muttered. "They should not be able to do this. Humans cannot be this coordinated." But the truth was undeniable. Humans were more than what they appeared. They did not rely solely on weapons or brute strength. They relied on intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to use their environment to their advantage. Every action was precise, every movement calculated, and every plan executed flawlessly. From her vantage point, Elena Voss surveyed the results. The first strike had been a success, not because it destroyed the enemy, but because it had demonstrated one undeniable truth: humans were not to be underestimated. "Good work, everyone," Elena said softly. "Today, they learned that shadows move, and when humans strike, they strike not with force alone, but with mind, courage, and foresight." Mara Keel allowed herself a small smile. "They will remember this day. Their confidence has cracks now. They will think twice before underestimating humans again." As the sun rose higher over the rocky planet, the humans withdrew quietly into their outpost. Their first strike had been swift, precise, and effective. It had unsettled the aliens without unnecessary violence, proving that strategy and intelligence could outweigh sheer power. And in the shadows, humans moved silently, unseen, yet always aware. They had sent a message without speaking a word. They were not weak, they were not simple, and they were not unarmed. Captain Vraal stared at the settlement from orbit, rage and disbelief in his eyes. "Humans," he muttered. "They are shadows, and shadows are dangerous." The humans did not celebrate. They were disciplined, ready for the challenges ahead. They knew the first strike was only the beginning. The aliens had underestimated them once, and humans would not allow it to happen again. Tomorrow, the battle would escalate. But for now, humans had proven their ingenuity, resourcefulness, and the power of patience. The shadows had moved, and the aliens had no idea what was coming next. The alien sun had barely begun to rise over the rocky planet, painting the jagged terrain with pale light. The previous night's event still echoed in the minds of the alien patrols. Systems had failed. Communication lines had gone dark. Patrols had become disorganized. For the first time, the aliens were unsure, confused by the humans they had assumed to be weak and unarmed. High above the settlement, Captain Vraal's multiple eyes narrowed in frustration. "They are ghosts," he muttered. "Humans are ghosts moving through our sensors, striking without warning. This should not be possible." Lieutenant Mara Keel crouched on a ridge overlooking the main alien outpost, her team hidden perfectly in the shadows. The humans were ready. Their first strike had been a test, a way to gauge the aliens' reactions and weaknesses. Now it was time to reveal their true abilities, not in blind aggression but in precise, strategic demonstrations. "Everyone, positions," Mara whispered. "Today they will see that humans are not fragile. We move as one, invisible but unstoppable. Watch and learn. Observe but be ready for action if needed." Dr. Nira Soren had upgraded her devices overnight. The portable pulse disruptors were now connected to a network of small energy projectors, creating temporary blind zones in the alien sensors. Even the most advanced alien technology could not penetrate these zones, making humans almost impossible to detect. "Energy readings are fluctuating in all patrol paths," Nira reported. We can manipulate their entire perception. They will not know where we are until we decide to reveal ourselves. Captain Elena Voss, standing beside Mara, surveyed the settlement below. Good. Today they learn respect. We do not attack recklessly. We demonstrate intelligence, coordination, and control. That is our strength. Below them, alien patrols moved hesitantly. After the previous night, their confidence had waned. They scanned carefully, sometimes pausing for minutes at a time. Soldiers whispered and clicked nervously, unsure of where the next disruption would come from. Mara signaled her team to begin the subtle manipulations. Small rocks shifted, casting longer shadows. Drones were misdirected by brief signal interferences. Tiny lights flickered in unnatural patterns, creating the illusion of movement where no humans existed. One alien patrol reached the perimeter of the human settlement and froze. Their sensors were showing strange fluctuations. Energy beams flickered. Communication units buzzed with static. Confused, the aliens paused, trying to make sense of the anomalies. They are hiding, one soldier said nervously. But this is more than hiding. It is clever. Intelligent, they are manipulating the environment itself. Captain Vral's antennae twitched with irritation. Impossible. They cannot do this. Search thoroughly. Sweep the area. Meanwhile, the humans were already in motion. Using the terrain, shadows, and their devices, they moved in ways the aliens could not anticipate. They climbed ridges, crept through narrow valleys, and adjusted their positions with calculated precision. Each movement was coordinated, each action deliberate. Look at their patterns, Mara whispered to her team. They react to disturbances but cannot predict them. We control their perception. We decide what they see. Dr. Nira Soren activated the networked pulse disruptors. The alien sensors failed intermittently, creating temporary blind spots. Aliens stumbled into these blind zones, unsure where the humans were, or if they were even present. Captain Voss spoke softly into the communicator. Prepare for controlled revelation. We are not attacking yet, but we will show them that humans are more than they imagined. Move when ready. At a carefully chosen moment, small figures emerged from the shadows. They were humans, visible for the first time, but only partially. From the ridges, Mara and her team revealed themselves in coordinated bursts, appearing in multiple locations at once. The aliens blinked in disbelief. They are here, one soldier stammered. All of them? Yes, another whispered. But they do not look armed. Yet they control everything around us. How? The humans did not shout, did not run, and did not panic. They stood calmly in the sunlight, observing the aliens, showing no fear yet radiating confidence. Their movements were smooth, precise, and purposeful. It was a demonstration of strategy, intelligence, and courage. Captain Vral's multiple eyes widened. They are organized, not chaotic. They are calculating. Humans are more than we assumed. Mara stepped forward, her team spreading across the ridge. We do not need brute force to survive, she said quietly, though the words carried clearly through the alien translation devices. We rely on intelligence, cooperation, and adaptation. You have underestimated us. That was your mistake. For the first time, some of the alien soldiers hesitated. They had faced intelligent opponents before, but never one that moved with such silent precision, never one that manipulated the environment without direct confrontation. Dr. Nira Soren moved beside Mara, activating another wave of pulse disruptors. Alien drones faltered. Patrols broke formation and confusion spread quickly through the ranks. The humans did not attack directly. They merely demonstrated their control over the battlefield. From a hidden ridge, Captain Voss observed. They are proving themselves, not with weapons alone, but with strategy, with intelligence, with presence. One alien soldier tried to advance, but a sudden shadow movement engineered by the humans caused him to stumble and fall. Another drone faltered when its signals were disrupted. The aliens' confidence weakened further. They are ghosts, whispered one patrol leader, invisible yet everywhere.
How do they do this?
Mara smiled faintly. They assumed humans were simple. That is the danger of underestimating us. Now they see the truth. The humans continued their coordinated demonstration, revealing themselves just enough to show their skill, adaptability, and precision. They moved in ways that seemed impossible, appearing in one place while actually hidden, using light and shadow to confuse perception, and controlling the battlefield without firing a single lethal shot. Captain Vral's antennae quivered with frustration and awe. They are not just survivors. They are masters of strategy. and they are teaching us a lesson we cannot ignore. Mara's team withdrew to higher ground, leaving the aliens disoriented and humbled. The humans had revealed their strength not with raw power but with intelligence, patience, and clever coordination. Elena Voss surveyed the scene below, satisfaction in her eyes.
Today they have seen what humans are capable of.
Not monsters, not mere soldiers, but thinkers, observers, and adaptable fighters. That is what makes us strong, Dr. Nira Soren added. We did not need to strike violently. We used the mind, strategy, and patience. That is humanity's true strength. Below, the aliens regrouped, shaken and confused. Captain Vral realized that brute force alone would not work against humans. Their patience, intelligence, and coordination had turned a simple observation into a demonstration of undeniable strength. They are not what we assumed, Vral admitted reluctantly. We underestimated humans. We must rethink our approach. The humans returned to their hidden positions, maintaining vigilance. They had revealed just enough to show the aliens that humans were not weak, but they had not yet fully exposed their capabilities. Their power lay not in weapons alone, but in intelligence, observation, and the ability to adapt quickly. Mara Keel watched from the ridge. We have proven our strength without unnecessary conflict. We have taught them a lesson. Never underestimate humans. Tomorrow the real challenge begins. Captain Voss nodded. Today we showed them shadows can move and that humans are never simple. The galaxy will remember this lesson. As the sun set over the rocky terrain, the humans quietly returned to their settlement. They were calm, disciplined, and ready. They had demonstrated that intelligence, strategy, and courage could match or surpass even the most advanced alien technology. And in the shadows, humans moved silently, still unseen, still in control. They had revealed themselves not to intimidate, but to teach a lesson the aliens would not forget. Humans are adaptable, resourceful, and capable of striking in ways no one expects. The first major revelation had been made. The aliens had seen the truth. Humans were not unarmed. They were not weak. And they were far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. Tomorrow, the humans would continue to outthink and outmaneuver their observers. But tonight the galaxy learned a small, unforgettable truth. Shadows move and humans are never as simple as they appear. The twin suns of the alien planet rose slowly, painting the horizon with soft gold and pale orange. Dust clouds drifted lazily across the rocky plains where, just days ago, the aliens had laughed at humanity's unarmed arrival. Now silence filled the land. The laughter had faded. The arrogance was gone. Captain Elena Voss stood on the ridge watching the alien outpost in the distance. Her eyes were calm but sharp. The humans had achieved what they wanted, not war, not conquest, but understanding. Still, the final step had to be taken. They will come soon, she said quietly. They will want to talk now. Fear has changed to curiosity. They wish to know who we really are. Mara Keel adjusted her wrist communicator and scanned the horizon. They finally realized we didn't come to bow, she replied. We came to build. But we'll never let anyone take that choice from us. Behind them, the human camp had grown stronger. Engineers repaired damaged drones. Scientists tested new devices and soldiers kept watch. The atmosphere was calm but focused. Every person moved with purpose, knowing their actions represented all of humanity in this strange new world. Dr. Nira Soren approached with a small smile. I've intercepted their new signal, she said. It's a request for dialogue. They are confused, but respectful, Voss nodded. That's what we hoped for. Prepare a team. We'll meet them on neutral ground, the valley between our settlements. No weapons, no deception, just honesty. Mara raised an eyebrow. Are you sure, Captain? They might still have tricks of their own. Voss smiled faintly. If they try something foolish, the shadows will remind them who we are. By midday, the meeting was set. The chosen valley lay quiet and empty. The ground was smooth, scattered with small rocks and strange blue grass that glowed faintly under the suns. The wind whispered through the hills, carrying the sound of distant machines. From one side, Captain Voss, Mara Keel, Dr. Nira Soren, and 2 human officers approached. Their uniforms were clean, simple, and without any visible weapons. From the other side, Captain Vral and a group of alien delegates appeared, tall and shining in their metallic armor. Both groups stopped at an equal distance. The air was thick with tension, yet there was something new in the aliens' movements. caution mixed with respect. Captain Vral was the first to speak. His deep voice echoed in the still air. You are not what we expected, humans. We thought you were unarmed explorers. Instead, we found an enemy we could not see, and a power we did not understand. Voss nodded calmly. We came peacefully. But when you tried to test us, we had to show what humans can do when we are underestimated. Vral studied her closely. Your people fought without weapons. You moved like shadows. You broke our systems without destroying them. You left us confused but alive. Why? Dr. Nira Soren stepped forward. Because war is easy. Understanding is harder. We didn't want to destroy you. We wanted to teach a lesson. That humanity survives not through strength alone, but through intelligence and unity. For a long moment, no one spoke. The wind moved quietly between them. Finally, Vral lowered his head slightly, a gesture of respect in his culture. You're kind. You adapt faster than we thought possible. You think differently. You fight differently. It is unsettling, Mara smiled faintly. That's what makes us human. We survive anywhere, not because we are the strongest, but because we learn. Every challenge teaches us something new. The alien officers exchanged glances, uncertain but thoughtful. One of them, younger and curious, asked, You used no heavy weapons, yet you made our forces retreat. Was that your plan from the start? Voss looked at the young alien kindly. No. Our plan was to explore, to learn, and to build. But when danger comes, humans adapt. When we are pushed, we think. When we are cornered, we rise. That is the way of our people. Vral looked toward the horizon. Perhaps our arrogance blinded us. We thought you were another small race. Instead, you remind me of the stories our elders told, about rare species who rise from nothing and change the galaxy. Dr. Soren said gently, We don't want to change anyone's galaxy. We only want to earn our place in it. For the next several hours, both sides talked. The humans explained their purpose, exploration, not conquest. The aliens shared their fears, that humanity's unpredictable nature made them dangerous. Slowly, through words and gestures, the distance between them began to shrink. Vral studied the humans carefully. When we first saw you, your machine seemed primitive. But now I understand. Simplicity can hide great intelligence. Voss smiled. Exactly. The best tool is not always the brightest. Sometimes it's the quietest one, the one you never notice until it changes everything. The alien commander gave a low hum of agreement. You have earned our respect, Captain Voss. I will report to the coalition that humans are not to be provoked again. You are not prey. You are equals. At that, every human on the ridge stood a little taller. Mara Keel nodded firmly. That's all we wanted, respect, not fear. Vral turned to leave, then paused. Tell me one thing, human. When our patrols vanished in the dark that first night, was it you who led that? Mara smiled slightly, her eyes glinting. The shadows moved themselves, Captain. We just guided them. Vral stared for a moment, then laughed softly, a deep, strange sound. Very well. I hope we meet again, not as enemies, but as allies. With that, the alien delegation withdrew into the dust, their silver figures fading into the horizon. That evening, the human camp glowed under the twin suns. The air was filled with quiet celebration. Engineers exchanged stories, scientists laughed softly, and soldiers finally rested. Dr. Nira Soren sat beside the small fire, checking her device logs. They'll watch us from afar, she said, but they won't interfere anymore. They've learned their lesson. Captain Voss smiled. Good. We've proven ourselves without firing a single destructive shot. That's the kind of victory that lasts. Mara poked at the fire thoughtfully. Do you think they'll ever really trust us? Maybe not completely, Voss said. But respect is the first step. And respect can grow into peace if we protect it. Silence followed for a moment. The stars began to appear above, shining like distant promises. Dr. Soren looked up at them. Every star out there is a new challenge, she said softly. And wherever we go, someone will always think we're unarmed. But they'll learn soon enough, Voss chuckled. Yes, humans always come unarmed, until the shadows move. Days passed and the aliens kept their distance. Their ships still orbited the planet, but none attacked again. Instead, quiet communication channels remained open, a sign of respect, even curiosity. The humans began building new settlements, stronger and smarter than before. They adapted alien technology, learned from mistakes, and prepared for the future. The story of what happened spread quickly through the stars. a story about a small human crew who had turned fear into respect through strategy and unity. Soon, other races in the galaxy began to speak of humans differently. No longer were they seen as fragile newcomers. They were now the species that fought with shadows, the ones who used intelligence as their greatest weapon. Captain Voss watched the sunset one evening, her voice calm and steady. "We've started something new. The galaxy knows us now, not for destruction but for strength of mind. That's how we will win every battle, seen or unseen." Mara stood beside her.
And when the next challenge comes?
Voss smiled faintly. "Then we'll adapt again, because that's what humans do best." The two women stood in silence as night fell. In the distance, faint glimmers of alien ships could still be seen, their lights blinking like cautious eyes. But this time there was no fear, only understanding. As the stars brightened overhead, a calm wind swept through the valley, whispering softly through the rocks. The shadows shifted gently with the light, silent and alive, and somewhere deep within those shadows humanity's quiet promise echoed. We came unarmed, but never unprepared.